Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mati Mataji, Meenakshi Mohini, Pawan Prabhuji for leading our chanting this morning. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, dear devotees and Vatanam. Okay, let's continue with our prayer. Anybody else would like to sing today? Aarti Mataji, you want to try?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, I
Yes.
can try.
Yes, please. Go ahead, Mataji.
विवावरी शेष आलोक प्रवेश निद्रा चढ़ी उठो जीवा बोलो हरि हरि मुकुंद मुरारी राम कृष्ण हय ग्रीवा नरसिंह वामन श्रीमधुसूदन ब्रजेन्द्र नंदन श्यामा पूतना घातन केतव सातन जय दशरथि रामा यशोदा लाल गोविंद गोपाल वृंदावन पुरंधारा गोपी प्रिया जन राधिका रामन भुवन सुंदर बारा रावण अंतकर माखन तस्कर गोपी जना वस्त्रहारी ब्रजेर राखल गोप वृंदापल चित्त हरि वंशीधारी योगींद्र वंदन श्रीनंदनंदन ब्रज जना भयहारी नवीन नीरद रूप मनोहर मोहन वंशी विहारी यशोदानंदन कंसनिसूदन निकुंजरास विलासी कदम कानन रास प्रयायन वृंद विपिन निवासी आनंदवर्धन प्रेमनिकेतन फूलशराजो जगकामा गोपागन घन चित विनोदन संसत गुण घन धामा जमुना जीवन केली परायन मानस चंद चकोरा नाम सुधारस गाओ कृष्णा जस राखो वचन मन मोरा विवावरी शेष आलोक प्रवेश निद्रा छड़ी उठो जीवा बोलो हरि हरि मुकुंद मुरारी राम कृष्ण हय ग्रीवा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Vibo, thank you, Aarti Mataji. Wonderful. Everybody singing. It feels like all the gopis and gopals are singing in Vrindavan. Thank you so much. श्री भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय, श्री नाम कीर्तन की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. Anyone else would like to read translations?
Translation.
Yeah, go ahead, Lakshmi.
The night has come to an end, and the light of dawn is entering. O Jiva soul, arise and give up your sleep. Chant the holy names of Lord Hari, who is the giver of liberation, the enemy of Mura demon, the supreme enjoyer, the all attractive one, and the horse headed incarnation Hayagriva. Lord Hari incarnated as half man, half lion, Narasimha. He appeared as a dwarf Brahmana named Upendra and is the killer of Madhu demon. He is the beloved son of King of Raja, Nanda Maharaj, and is blackish in complexion. He is the slayer of Putna witch and the destroyer of demon Ketabha. All glories to Lord Hari, who appeared as Lord Ram, the son of King Dashrath. He is the darling of Mother Yashoda, the giver of pleasure to the cows, land, and spiritual senses, and the protector of the cows. He is the lord of Vrindavan forest, the gopis' beloved, the lover of Radhika, and the most beautiful personality in all the worlds. Ramachandra, he brought about the end of the demonic king Ravana. As Krishna, he stole the older gopis' butter. He stole the younger gopis' clothes while they were bathing in the Yamuna. He is a cowherd boy of Raja and the protector of cowherd boys. He steals the heart of all and always holds a flute. Lord Krishna is worshipped by the best of yogis and is the son of Nanda. He removes all the fears of the inhabitants of Raja. He is the color of fresh rain cloud, and his form is enchanting. When he wanders about playing his flute, he looks very charming. He is the son of Yashoda and the killer of King Kamsa. He sports in the rasa dance among the groves of Raja. Krishna engages in this rasa dance underneath the Kadamba trees, and he resides in the forest of Vrindavan. He increases the ecstasy of his devotees. He is the reservoir of all love and is the transcendental Cupid who uses his flowered arrows to increase the loving desires of the gopis. He is the pleasure of gopis' heart and the abode of all wonderful qualities. Lord Krishna is the life of river Yamuna. He is always absorbed in enormous pastimes, and he is the moon of the gopis' mind, which are like the chakora bird that subsist only upon moonlight. O mind, obey these words of mine and sing the glories of Sri Krishna in the form of these holy names, which are full of nectarian mellows. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much. Hey Krishna. Yes, so just like the Chakora birds subsist only upon moonlight. Like that, Prabhupada was telling yesterday that we should subsist only on Krishna Prasadam. Right? So, and he was talking to the people in Mexico and how do we improve our chanting, how do we improve our taste for chanting, and how do you utilize your tongue, because tongue has two functions. One is to chant and vibrate the holy names, and the second is to taste the Mahaprasada. So he said only if we do just this thing, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually wrote that Mahaprasadam prayer that we sing, Sarira Vidya Jal. Of course, the first part is written by Srila Vyasadeva, that Mahaprasadi Govinde, that is from Skanda Puran. But then Sharira Vidya Jal, and why the tongue is so voracious, and how Prabhupada was saying yesterday that if we just control the tongue, then everything else is controlled. So there's a very, very important secret there, very important principle that we should all apply in our lives. Prabhupada is clearly giving the secret that if we control our tongue, everything else is controlled. We are trying, like, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeho karunandana, right? We should have one pointed attention. And Prabhupada is giving the secret here. If we just control our tongue, everything else will be controlled, right? So sometimes we are running after 100 different things. Even in bhakti, we are trying to figure out, doing this, that, this, that, this, that. But Prabhupada is clearly telling us, And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also clearly telling us that we have to control our tongue. So when we wake up in the morning in the Brahma Muhurta, we chant the holy names. We are directly following the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, and that is directly addressing the root cause of all our problems. So by chanting the holy names, by eating only Krishna Prasadam offered, bhoga to Krishna. In Grihastha life, actually, Prabhupada said there are only 4 things that are very important. One is we chant, we follow the morning program, evening program, we read books of Srila Prabhupada very nicely, scrutinizingly, in association of devotees, like we are doing here. And we worship the deities at home, at least as grihasthas. That is basic thing that we can do every day. So, I'm happy that we are following all those instructions, that we are chanting, we are doing the Swadhana, Swadhyay, which is reading Srila Prabhupada's books attentively. We are worshipping the deities, and we are offering prasadam, and we are offering bhoga to Krishna, and we are only partaking of the prasadam. So those are the 4 things Prabhupada told for grihasthas specifically that we should do. And if we do those, then our life will be perfect. So in AM or PM, like yesterday, Prabhupada was very happy with Hridayananda Maharaj because, he very lovingly invited him and made all those arrangements. And he was printing books in Spanish, translating and printing books in Spanish. So Prabhupada was very, very happy with his service. And he says that, because of love of Hridayananda Maharaj, I've come here. Right. So actually I was remembering this and I saw this flag. I thought this is also Spanish. Yes, so this is Spanish translation. But whether AM or PM, it was again coincidence this morning. You see Aarti Mataji sang or chanted, Meenakshi Mohini chanted, Pawan Prabhu chanted, and as in significant servant also chanted. So we had AM, PM, Aarti, Meenakshi, Pawan, Prabhuji, and me. So in AM or PM, like Prabhupada is saying, because why he was happy with Hridayananda Maharaj, because he was printing these books, and he said he was very nicely following the morning and the evening programs, and he was representing Srila Prabhupada very nicely, right? So just by following the Guru's instructions, how much he pleased Srila Prabhupada and how much Prabhupada was pleased to come there, and when he saw all the arrangements, all the devotees welcoming him so nicely. We were celebrating Vasant Panchami yesterday, and how Prabhupada was welcomed with flower petals into the temple with yellowish windows and sun shining on Prabhupada like in golden hue. So everything was perfect as Vasant Panchami. I was thinking Vasant, I was reflecting yesterday on Vasant also. If we break up Vasant, it becomes like Va plus Sant. So Va is like Vaishnava Sant. And yesterday, like we said, there was appearance and disappearance of so many Vaishnava Sant saints. Pundarik Vidyanidhi is one of them, who is none other than Vrishabhanu Maharaj. That also was a very nice correlation. That yesterday was VP, Vasant Panchami, and we were also PV, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, or even. So like that, Vasant Panchami is also Vaishnava saints, Vaishnava Sants Panchami. So very nice things that we could take home from all this learnings from Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Prabhupada. Okay, let's continue with chapter 65. So Prabhupada is having a very Krishna conscious, blissful time in Mexico. And he's strengthening the faith of his devotees and their Krishna consciousness. So let's see what happens next. Okay. Srila Prabhupada liked his quarters in the temple. The devotees had divided one big room with a curtain, one side for preaching and one side for resting, and had painted it pastel blue after the color scheme Srila Prabhupada had requested for his room in Los Angeles. And in their own way, the devotees had tried to make it artistic and Vedic. They had decorated a beautiful asan for him to sit on while meeting with guests. Beside his sitting place was a display of his books, and above the bookcase a silver vase of flowers. Prabhupada continued to work persistently at his Bhagavatam translation and purports. During his last visit to Mexico in 1972, he had been working on the 4th canto. Now he was on the 5th. That he could concentrate on translating while traveling almost constantly was a remarkable achievement. Perhaps only a writer can appreciate how extremely difficult it is to expect to make serious literary composition while at the same time moving continuously from room to room, country to country, climate to climate. one week after the next. But Prabhupada had been doing it for years, and he was able to do it because he was completely surrendered to the task and because Krishna was directly collaborating with him. Devotees had come to expect that Srila Prabhupada would live a very busy life all day, dealing with internal management, with devotees, guests, letters, lectures, travels, and then at night, instead of collapsing for 8 hours of hard earned rest, that he would lie down for a couple of hours and then rise, unaided, when almost everyone else was asleep, and execute the most demanding task of his entire day, translating and commenting on the Sanskrit verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. That his Bhagavatams were so masterfully rendered could only mean that his work was, as a prominent American professor had described it, God sent. Many professors, librarians, and scholars were appreciating Srila Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada wrote the devotees in America who were circulating his books in universities and getting reviews. Thank you very much for sending the book reviews. Send more if you can. These are very, very encouraging. I'm keeping a collection of these reviews and I show them to big scholars and professors when they come to see me. They are very impressed. But how, at the age of 78, could he write such transcendental literature which was praised and worshipped by all devotees and appreciated by religious and Sanskrit professors, and at the same time travel and tend to several thousand initiated disciples? One can only begin to understand and appreciate his endeavor. Nanda Pran. Prabhupada was very busy with the translation. Some of us devotees took care of Prabhupada and would stay outside his room all night. We could hear the dictating machine. At 10 p.m., Prabhupada would stop the dictating machine and turn the lights off. Then, about 2 a.m., he would rise without an alarm clock and turn the light on. He would keep going with his translations. Devotee. I could see every night. Srila Prabhupada very regularly just turned off his light. I couldn't see inside his room, but from a little space underneath the door, I could see he was working until late at night. Every devotee would take rest, but he was working until 10. At exactly 10, he would turn off his light. Then automatically, very regularly, he would turn on the light at 1:30 in the morning. I was very surprised how he could just rest for 3.5 hours and work all day long. I think during the daytime he would take another nap, but from 1:30 a.m. until the morning I would see the lights on. Then in the morning after Mangalarti, he would go on his morning walk. In Chapultepec Park, Srila Prabhupada liked to walk on the narrow road of the philosophers. The early mornings were cold, and he wore his long saffron coat with hood. The simple canvas shoes he wore would become wet from the dew on the grass. His rapid pace made his younger disciples hustle to keep up. Often Prabhupada's words would go untranslated, and the Mexican boys could catch only a phrase or two. But they were happy to be with their spiritual master. He was interested in the many varieties of trees and sometimes asked about them. Once, stopping before a large dead tree, he examined it carefully. What is the difference between this dead tree and the others? He asked. One disciple replied, This tree is dead because its time is over. No, Prabhupada said, and tapped his cane on the ground. Another devotee ventured, This tree has a certain karma different from the others. No, Prabhupada again tapped his cane on the ground. The difference is that there is not a soul in this tree. While walking among the trees in the Chapultepec Park, Prabhupada spotted a certain eucalyptus twig above his head. He stopped. From as early as 1967 in San Francisco, he had used the twigs of eucalyptus trees as toothbrushes, a Western substitute for the antiseptic neem twigs of India. Shiti Mohan. Prabhupada pointed to the tree and told Hridayananda Maharaj, I want that stick. It was a very small one. Hridayananda Maharaj heard Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada wants that. Come on, bring it down, bring it down. He wanted to give it to Prabhupada. So we made a pyramid of men, with 3 men on the bottom, then 2 men on the top of them, and one skinny devotee climbed on the top. When the devotee stood and reached up, he was still about 50 centimeters short. But when he made an effort to reach it, the whole pyramid fell to the ground. Prabhupada was watching them, smiling and laughing. Again they made the pyramid bigger, and the devotee tried to reach it again. But again they fell down. Then more devotees tried. They became wet because of the grass, and Hridayananda Maharaj was very excited, saying, Come on, Prabhupada wants that, Prabhupada wants that, keep moving. Prabhupada was smiling at the fun, sometimes watching the twig and sometimes watching the devotees. A third time, they tried the pyramid and it fell down. But the 4th time it worked, and the devotee stood up and broke the twig from the tree. He gave it to Hridayananda Maharaj, who gave it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada held it in his hand, inspected it for a minute, and then threw it away. Often during his morning walk, Srila Prabhupada would only chant Hare Krishna, the universal language in which all the Spanish and English speaking devotees could participate without difficulty. For many of the Mexican disciples, this was their first personal contact with Srila Prabhupada, and they were awed. Occasionally, on a walk, Srila Prabhupada would suddenly sit on a bench, and as many as 15 disciples would quickly gather at his feet, looking up to him. Muni Priya. Prabhupada sat down in the park. The people around Prabhupada also sat and came to see Prabhupada. People were sitting and looking to Prabhupada, and he was also looking at all the devotees. And all the devotees were waiting to hear from Prabhupada. Nobody makes a sound. Prabhupada looked at all the devotees and then said, "Chant Hare Krishna." Then all the devotees came to love him. Because all the people were waiting for Srila Prabhupada to talk about philosophy. These boys don't expect Srila Prabhupada to suddenly say, "Chant Hare Krishna," and they come to love him. Because Prabhupada said this in the middle of a silence. When Prabhupada saw the joggers, he remarked, "If they say they don't care about the ultimate meaning of life, why are they running? They are running," he said, "because they are all afraid of death." They passed a martial arts class, 2 rows of men in black letters, gesturing aggressively in unison. "Who are they fighting?" he asked. He said that when he explains philosophically that everyone is afraid of death, people reply, "No, I'm not afraid." But if they are not afraid of death, then why are they doing all this? And he gestured towards the mock fighting and laughed. One morning he stopped at a large garbage container and asked about the sign on it. Hidananda Maharaj replied, "It says, put the garbage in this place. Then the whole material world will be there." Srila Prabhupada replied, "But it is too big to put into this container." Hare Krishna. Another morning, riding back to the temple in the car, Prabhupada asked the driver, "Nanda Pran, to go faster." Hridayananda Maharaj translated Prabhupada's order to the driver, who sped up slightly. Srila Prabhupada then astonished them by asking, "Koi pasa, Nanda Pran?" And when the ride was over, he added, "Muchas gracias." There was no scarcity of flowers in Mexico City, and every morning during Guru Puja, over 100 devotees and guests would come one by one before Srila Prabhupada to offer a palm full of flower petals at his lotus feet. By the end of the Guru Puja, a small hill of flower petals spilled over Srila Prabhupada's legs until finally he would gather up handfuls and throw them out to the ecstatic devotees, who continued their chanting and dancing with even greater vigor. On Srila Prabhupada's second morning in Mexico City, he spoke from Bhagavad Gita 2.2 on how the soul is eternally individual. When you actually understand, Srila Prabhupada said, that you are not American or Indian or Mexican, but that you are spirit soul, then your spiritual life begins. He said, the symptom of identifying oneself with the soul is that one becomes jubilant, jolly, and to attain this, one has to undergo a process of purification. Without purification, you cannot understand God. But Lord Chaitanya's prescription, which we are simply propagating, is chant Hare Krishna. So I'm very glad to see that you Mexican young boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen are coming here and joining and chanting Hare Krishna. I request you to continue this procedure. Please come here, join this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra and take prasadam and go home. And surely you will be purified and qualified for going back to home, back to Godhead. Questions and answers followed, with Hridayananda Maharaj translating. Hridayananda Maharaj. He wants to know if within marriage it is possible to achieve perfection. Prabhupada. Yes, human being is meant for marriage, not the cats and dogs. If you can remain without marriage, without sex life, that is very good. But if you can't, then marry and be gentleman and remain peaceful. Hridayananda Maharaj. He wants to know if one can achieve Krishna consciousness outside the temple. Prabhupada. Oh yes, you have to follow the rules and regulations. That's all. Hridayananda Maharaj. What about when one breaks the principles? Can Krishna forgive him? Prabhupada. Yes, Krishna can forgive you once, twice, but not regularly. Prabhupada smiled and the devotees laughed with him. Hridayananda Maharaj. Sometimes people come and join our movement and follow the 4 principles, but there appears to be a fault in their character. So he says that by following the process gradually, the defects will be diminished. But is there any way to more rapidly? Prabhupada. If a man comes and follows the regulative principles, even for some time, and again he falls down, so long as he has followed, that aspect is permanent. Anything spiritual asset is never lost. So little, little, little. When it is complete, 100%, then you become liberated. Spiritual asset is never lost. Even if a person comes to the temple, follows the regulative principles for some time, and again falls down, he is not a loser. He is a gainer. Others who do not take this lesson, who keep outside and perform their so-called material duties very perfectly, they are losers. So at least for some time, let every one of you come here and follow the restriction. If you become perfect, it is all right. But even if you go away, whatever you have done, that is your permanent asset. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even that little asset can help you become freed from the greatest danger. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated even if such a person falls down, he is given a chance in next life to take birth in a very rich aristocratic family or in a very pious Brahmana family. A little spiritual asset in this human form of life will at least guarantee your next life in a very nice family. But without spiritual life, there is no guarantee whether you are going to become human being or cat or dog. Since Srila Prabhupada's last visit, the devotees had received his permission and had installed the deities of Radha Krishna. Srila Prabhupada criticized, however, that their dress was not up to the standard. He said that the opulent deity worship followed in Los Angeles ISKCON was the standard and they should adopt. When he saw a painted backdrop behind the deities depicting the land of Vrindavan, he said that this Vrindavan mood of spontaneous love for Krishna was too elevated for ordinary devotees. Again, he stressed the worship of Krishna in awe and opulence as he appeared in Dwarka. The devotees should study the worship of Rukmini Dwarkadish in Los Angeles. Okay, Hare Krishna. Let's pause here. So nice. Wonderful. Today at the center, we are going to have discussion on this very verse that Prabhupada just explained here. 6.41 or not at the center, but today we are going to have an online program. So looking forward to Minakshi Mohini's Katha today. And this is the topic for today's discussion, that how whatever spiritual credit that we accrue in this life never gets wasted. It's all a permanent asset that we carry from this birth to the next, and all our sanskaras, all our pious deeds that we have done, or not only pious, but even our spiritual bank balance, like we said, the cash, when we chant attentively, when we study sincerely, and when we serve humbly, all the cash that we are collecting, the spiritual cash that goes with us into the next life. And nice, Prabhupada is teaching as part of his morning walk again. Is so nice, just like in Vrindavan, they all have this nice pastimes of playing with Krishna when they go to Govardhan Hill, like that, these devotees, they're forming the pyramid, trying to get a small twig, just because Prabhupada wanted that eucalyptus twig. And Prabhupada is smiling and laughing and having fun. These are such simple pastimes, but so powerful in terms of giving bliss and joy and jubilation, like Prabhupada is saying. That is the eternal nature of the soul. And with some simple things, simple spiritual practices, we can get so much of jubilation and joy, which is the true nature of the soul. And yeah, the garbage can that he was saying, and, this garbage, if this is garbage can, the whole material world can come here, because the whole material world is in garbage right now, right? There are very few, like Krishna says that, that out of millions and millions of people, other day Antadvi Prabhu also saying the same thing with the pyramid, right? In the class, he was saying it's pyramid, from karmis, who are just after material sense gratification. You go up the chain, people who are trying to follow some yoga process, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, right? And ultimately you come to bhakti yoga. And even in bhakti yoga, out of millions and out of, so because today also we see there's crores and crores of, devotees all around the world, but how many are sincerely practicing, the principles and the instructions of the Guru Parampara, right? That is what matters. So as we go up the pyramid, there are very, very rare, Shuddha Bhaktas that we should take association of. And Srila Prabhupada, of course, is not here, but again, just like Prabhupada said again and again and again, it's very, very obvious that not the Vapu association, not the physical association, but the Vani association of a Guru is actually even more potent. So when we read Prabhupada's books, when we come together, this is the mood that Prabhupada wanted and his devotees to come together in association and scrutinizingly study books from different angles. We share our reflections, realizations, Right? So we are associating with Srila Prabhupada directly. He said, that just, I will live forever. I will live forever through my books, and you shall utilize it. Right? That very famous statement that he told to that reporter on the day, and it happened coincidentally on the day of his disappearance this year when we were reading Prabhupada Lilamrit, and the reporter asked, "What will happen to your movement when you die?" And he said, "I will live forever. I will live forever through my books, and you shall utilize." Right? So Prabhupada is living forever through his books. Just by reading his books, by reading his pastimes, we are directly associating with him. And this is the topmost, sadhu sangha, because we are associating with the founder Acharya. And that is the mood that all our Guru Varga today, Prabhupada's disciples, want us to do. They want us to read Prabhupada's books. So just by having this association with Srila Prabhupada, they are getting so much of purification, and everything will become perfect, as Prabhupada said. So otherwise, the whole material world is like that garbage can. They cannot fit into that garbage can, like Prabhupada was saying. So, yeah, we just have to become very, like one saint was saying that हमें जिद्दी बनना है when we are in bhakti. Like in everything else, we have our zidd, and we are very hatti, like we are very stubborn and obstinate when we want to get something in material life. Right? We will try to run after it. Like Prabhupada is giving this example of these people. They're running. What are they running? Why are they running? They're running because they're afraid of death, or they want to remain fit. But again, they want to remain fit, so that my Guru Maharaj used to say, when he used to go for morning walks, he would say, all these people going on the jogs and everything, they just wanting to keep their bodies fit. Why? Not for doing bhakti, or not for doing good things, but actually do bad things only for themselves. They are going to enjoy more. They want to use this body for more sense gratification. That is their purpose. That is why they're running, right? So, but that running is not good. But in material world, people are running after so many things, right? After bank balance, after fame, name, prestige, power, whatnot. But we have to run. We have to run. We have to do this brisk morning japa walk with Prabhupada, right? That is our goal. And that should be our, strong desire, strong, zid. We should be very obstinate about doing that. Then the mercy comes. It's a kind of like in computer world, we say, recursive loop. So it's like a recursive loop. You do sadhana, you do your japa properly, then, that invokes the mercy. And only by mercy also we can do our sadhana properly, because otherwise, that also happens. That Prabhupada says again here, right, that at least you do your endeavor, and this will help you purify for sure. But even if you fall down, if there is a risk of fall down, if you go away, if you lose interest for some reason or the other, still whatever we have done never goes to waste. It will always remain with us, and that foundation that is laid eventually someday or other again will inspire us to take us back on the path of bhakti and back to Godhead. So we should always have that firm faith in the instructions of the acharyas. Okay, thank you so much. Anybody else would like to say anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, when we are discussing about the pyramid, I'm just thinking about in India, we are making a good festival, making pyramid, then broke that dahi handi. No, people are trying first time, second time, third time. Same thing I thinking about Prabhupada's, they are bringing Prabhupada's one stick, they're making pyramid, and first time failure, then second time failure, third failure, fourth the success.
Yes. There also we learn life lesson that
Yeah.
we don't. Everything is not, even in bhakti, it is not simple that first time you do, you will become successful. No, you try, and with the group of association of devotees, you try, keep trying, right? And Krishna is standing there, like Prabhupada is standing there and smiling at us. He's saying, "Oh, just like a parent, when a child starts to turn around, first, then starts to crawl, right? Then slowly tries to, get up, and then after that starts to walk, right? Like that, we have to take baby steps. We are babies on this path of bhakti. But when even all those small things that we are doing, Krishna is standing, right? He's right in our heart. He's seeing each and everything that we are doing, and he's smiling and he's laughing at us, and he's just waiting. And then once the time comes, then yes, he will give his own hand for us to hold on to, and then take us back home. So yeah, like you gave the very nice example of the Hihandi. Yes, Krishna is there, and he's waiting when we will reach that the Hihandi, and we will reach that pot of makhan, and then he will come and he will share with us and he will give us the makhan. Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Good thing.
Okay.
But AM PM you
Yes.
compared. That's really good.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. Anybody else would like to say anything? Meenakshi Mohini.
Hare Krishna. No, I was just reflecting on the point that it's just so that I'm going to give, got this service to give a class on this verse, Bhagavad Gita 6.41, and seeking Krishna's blessing, and how Prabhupada, as you always say, Prabhupada always reciprocate in our reading of Prabhupada Lilamrit. So it was, again, as I felt that I got blessing from Srila Prabhupada that, yes, go ahead and, do your service. So just reflecting on that. I don't want to talk more about this right now here. I would request the devotees to please join today evening an online Zoom class, and then we can share the nectar together. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, so today we will have, like I said again, we'll have our Bhagavad Gita session online because of the winter storm. We're not going to have any program at the center. It will be online at 4:30 p.m. 4:30 to 5:30. We'll have our session on Bhagavad Gita 6.41. And this is also, I was telling Lakshman yesterday, this is the 41st shloka of the 108 shlokas that we have, that we are reading. Prabhupada's, the famous 108 important shloka from Bhagavad Gita, the series that we are currently on. Today is the 41st session and it is 6.41. So that is also a nice coincidence. So let's join today and let's grow together, each other's association, as Srila Prabhupada wanted us to. Okay, thank you so much for joining on a Saturday, chilly, cold morning, but in the comforts of our home, which is the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara and the Lord, that we are able to sit at our home comfortably on a Saturday, chilly morning and still chant japa. Again, these are small endeavors that gives pleasure to not us. We are not seeking our pleasure for us, but it gives pleasure to the Lord, it gives pleasure to the Guru Varga, and that is what our whole life should be orchestrated around, to give pleasure to our Gurus, to Srila Prabhupada and to Sri Krishna. And when we give them pleasure, they give us back that pleasure multiplied many, many millionfold of times. So that is the bliss of bhakti. स्वांशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय।
Yeah.
जय जय श्री राधे श्याम
Have a great
निताई
day.
गौर हरि
Hare
हरि
Krishna.
बोल हरे कृष्ण।
हरि
Hare
बोल
Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna.